That takes us up to a Paul-Hoynes rant time. Just give me the subject so I know what to prepare for. Or is it going to change in midstream?
It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of.
One I'm going to say, I didn't see that one coming. All right, ladies and gentlemen, last chance before he goes on to Goodyear, Arizona. He'll be back. He's not going forever. He'll be back in a couple of weeks. Here with a nightly rant, and a classic one at that. Here's Paul-Hoynes.
You know, Les, you know, it's that time of year again. You know, I'm going a little crazy. I've had it with the winter. You know, I'm getting a little stir crazy. I've seen all the TV shows. I've seen all the commercials, and to be frank, you know, I'm kind of obsessed with a couple of these commercials. You know, a couple of commercials, like, you know, the one on the cruise ship where you know, Grace Slick and the Jefferson Airplane are you know, singing White Rabbit, and the girl goes through like she's going on a trip. You know, White Rabbit, that's about, you know, eating magic mushrooms and going on a trip. Now, you know, I love the song, I love Grace Slick, but am I getting on a cruise ship that some captain is going to eat psychedelic mushrooms, and where are we going? We're going to circle around the Caribbean? I had some concerns about that. And then there's another one. With Jimmy Dean. You know, Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. Yeah. Jimmy Dean. I like it. I like when he sang Big Bad John. You know, that was a great song. But I'm sitting there thinking, you know, Jimmy Dean. This was. He sang Big Bad John down in the 1960s. You know, and now he's doing, you know, commercials for sausage. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, how old is this guy? So I looked it up. Jimmy Dean's been dead since 2010.
And he's still doing commercials.
And he's still doing commercials. Now, you know, I got nothing against Jimmy Dean. I like Big Bad John, but I'm not sure I want a dead guy, you know, advertising my breakfast, you know, my breakfast sausage to me. And so, you know, this thing has really gotten a hold of me. I've been kind of, you know, like my mind has been spinning around on it. But then finally a light went on, Les. Finally a light went on. I said, hey, you know, this might be able to work. This could work something. Take the Indians. Now, what if the Indians, you know, kind of channeled all their late great players and did kind of the same thing, you know, Shoeless Joe-Jackson. You know, there's probably, you know, some sound clips about him back, you know, where he's talking. So let's say the Indians splice it together and they have, you know, Joe, you know, talking about the team. He goes, Shoeless Joe, hey, Tribe fans, come down to Progressive Field for the season. And, you know, I guarantee you I won't throw a World Series yet. Or you could have Jimmy-Piersall. You know, Jimmy-Piersall do the same thing, and you know, he could tell Tribe fans, hey, Tribe fans, come down to the ballpark and watch me run around the bases backwards after I hit a home run. Or you could have Stanley-Koveleski. You know, Stanley-Koveleski in 1920 won 3 games in the 1920 World Series, helped the Indians win their first World Series, and you know, Stanley-Koveleski could say, just, you know, he could tell the Tribe fans, he goes, hey, Trevor Bauer, stick it. You know, I won 3 games in the World Series by throwing one of the best spitballs in baseball history. And so Tribe fans, come down to the ballpark and see if any of these mopes can match my spin rate. Or you could say, you know, or you could talk to, you know, Leon Daddy Wags. Daddy Wags is, you know, after he retired, you know, he opened a clothing store, and the great advertisement of the clothing store was, get your rags at Daddy Wags. So Daddy Wags, if they, you know, put his voice out there, he could say, Tribe fans, after you buy your rags at Daddy Wags, come down to the ballpark. You know, the possibilities are endless on this. They're endless. Who knew? Voices from the dead, a new marketing tool.
I didn't see that coming. You know, Hal Lebovitz told me this, and I've not been able to check it out, but it's one of those things, if it's a great story, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. So the Indians trade and get Jimmy-Piersall, great center fielder between Ted Williams and whoever, Jackie Jensen, I would guess. But Fear Strikes Out was based on his life. And Hal said that they always had doubleheaders on Sunday, and Piersall would, in the second inning of the second game, would always get himself thrown out, get into an argument with the umpire, get himself thrown out. And they found out he was traded from Boston. His family was back in Boston. He had a standing reservation on an airplane at 6:15 And if he got thrown out of the game 2, or inning number 2 in the second game, he could make that flight okay.
The flight.
So one day the manager figured it out, and he goes to the umpires. They exchange batting orders for the second game, and he says, Piersall's going to try to get himself thrown out in the second inning. Whatever you do, don't throw him out of the game. So Piersall's in the on-deck circle, and there's a pitch that was thrown to the other batter, and Piersall starts yelling at the umpire about how that pitch was not a strike and all that stuff. And Piersall goes out to the umpire, goes face-to-face with him, and he's not going to throw him out. Now the manager has to go out and protect his guy. He goes out, and the umpire throws the manager out of the game. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a great story.
Great.
All right.